Good morning, Sawadika. So a very warm welcome to the international seminar this morning. I would like to thank all the speakers, partners, participants, and co-organizing for this and joining this program today. So we are also live streaming this program by the Facebook as announced. In this case, my warmest welcome to those of you joining us from different time zones. Good afternoon and good evening. My name is Michiko Yoshida from Chulalongkorn University. I'm the Director of Global Networking and Engagement at the Office of International Affairs and Global Network. Today's seminar is entitled Fostering Integrated Socio-Ecological Approach for Health and Well-Being, Health Equity, Civic Engagement, Social Innovation. We are delighted to be joined by panelists from multiple academic disciplines and practices of outstanding leadership to address this increasingly significant issue for us all. We hope to have an open discussion, sharing insights in promoting well-being for our communities for sustainable futures. And I believe we will learn how participation of all stakeholders in society is essential to develop ideas and actions toward SDGs and beyond. Without further ado, may I now invite Associate Professor Dr. Boraprapa Nakavachala, Assistant Vice President for Engagement of Global Engagement of Chulalongkorn University, to give opening remarks. Dr. Boraprapa, please.
Professor Kiet Raklungtham, distinguished speakers, colleagues, and friends. On behalf of Chulalongkorn University, I'm very pleased to welcome all of you today to this seminar, Fostering Integrated Socio-Ecological Approach for Health and Well-Being, Health Equity, Civic Engagement, Social Innovation. The role of the university as a key institution of higher learning is ever expanding to better serve society. We at Chulalongkorn University embrace this expansion and the mission of service. In this context, the question of health equity in our current world has become the topic of foremost importance. A crucial part of our role is to provide innovative research, learning, and experiences for the public as well as for our students. Through such services and by offering opportunities, we can fill gaps that may be overlooked by formal or conventional education. We can also bring citizens together to improve understanding, not only for complex issues, but also of each other. This generates new knowledge and solutions to our societal challenges. Chulalongkorn University actively promotes the co-creation of knowledge and innovative learning under our strategic vision, Innovations for Society. Such innovations are becoming increasingly vital as the world is undergoing transitions unprecedented in our recent history. All of our speakers today are outstanding leaders in this respect. I'm most grateful that we could welcome you all today to be engaged over this timely topic. Lastly but not least, I would like to sincerely thank our partner for co-designing this seminar. My special appreciation goes to the School of Global Health, Chulalongkorn University, which collaborated with the Office of International Affairs and Global Network to co-organize this seminar. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Boraprapa, for your kind opening remarks to set the tone of the seminar this morning. Now, it is my great honor to introduce Professor Kiet Raklungtham to chair and moderate, who will be chairing and moderating the panel session this morning. Professor Kiet is a professor of medicine, a director of School of Global Health, Chulalongkorn University. He is the scientific chair of the Chula Vaccine Research Center and director of the COVID-19 Vaccine Development Program, leading the first mRNA vaccine development program in Thailand. Given this exceptional contribution to the society on the development of the country's first such vaccine, a royal award was granted to him in 2022 by Her Royal Highness Princess Maha Chakri Sirinthorn at the 10th vaccination conference. So, Professor Kiat, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Michiko, and my great honor to join this panelist sessions and all the panelists that have a different expertise. Yesterday we have a chance to discuss to prepare our talk today. Is that so? I learned that my expertise in the field of health and well-being, and another three colleagues one expertise in environment. The other is food security, and the last speaker will be on the community engagement and empowering. So I think it's really will be a very interesting session. So the format of this today meeting is that each speaker will give a talk roughly about no more than half an hour, and then we will have another 30 to 40 minutes for panel discussion. So I'd like to encourage both people on site and online to come up with idea questions that will allow the panel to have further discussion. So that will be a great contribution to this fruitful meeting. So in terms of the health equity, if you look at the cartoon here on the right side, is the reality. So the richer people, the more power people, and other resources that are available, we have that far above the other that have less resources or opportunity. And so when we talk about equities, mean that how we to make that the second part of the cartoon is realistic, which is it needs a different way of approach and thinking, right? So in terms of health equities, mean that how we can strive for the highest possible standard of health for all people, right? And then particularly if you have a limited resources, at least you have to target the greatest list of poor health group of people, and then prioritize that support to those really needed. Now, when you look at the individual health or public health, actually only 20% that rely on doctor, nurses, so it's really only 20% of our health is related to access to care and quality of services. But 80% are really driven by socio-economic, environment, behavior, and others. So it really means that if we want to address health equity, it doesn't mean that we have to just focus on hospital and clinics. So that's wrong. Not nurses, not doctors, but a lot of effort need to put together. Now, this is just a partially listed this because the slide, even like this, is very busy slide right now. But I just partially listed a key factor that lead to inequity of health. So, and inequity of health lead to a poorer health outcome. So the way to assess easily is the mortality rate, right? How long people can live in this particular country, region, or community, right? So that the easiest. So poor health outcome because of inequity. Now, I put the first one on the top because poverty is a problem. Even in the very high income country and well-developed country in US and Europe, and I will give you some example. Even in UK, the poorest people have the worst health outcome. So it doesn't mean that same country have the same outcome. It's really a problem. Now, poverty is really a major problem. Racism getting still a problem. In U.S., you heard a lot. In some country that black matters is a problem, right? Or other minority issue. And you see a lot of wars and other issue that driving people migrate around as a refugee. That's a major problem on the health equity. Misinformation during COVID is still a nightmare, right? People get anti-vax, global vaccine, not vaccine. You know, COVID is a friendly disease. It's just a cold, yeah, but people die. Many, more than 7 million right now. Polarization of politics, polarization. Just example in the U.S. and in some country like Brazil, right? If the leader of the country don't believe in science, you get into trouble, right? It's really a trouble. And education, gender, and aging. Aging, particularly even in the wealthy country, if people getting old and lonely, you cannot get access to good care as well because you're lonely, right? You don't have people to take care of marginalization and so on. So this, again, partially listed. Now, again, this cartoon showing that power, income, wealth make a big difference. And the global economy right now, we are crazy with fully capitalism, right? And you see that every day is getting worse. But how are we going to balance that thing? So when you look at the health, when we want to attack or try to make a solution, you have to think about which level you're going to focus in the aspect that you'll be able to contribute. As a global level, of course, you need a lot of multinational, international organizations to work together. As a regional level or country level, specific population level, community level, or individual level. Now, I give you a very easy example. You can visualize because picture is the best to tell the story, right? If you go to the world in data, and this is from World Bank, if I remember correctly. You go to life expectancy. I think this is world in data. Life expectancy back in more than 200 years ago, right? It's not very much different. Every time turn red, right? No matter the American, Latin America, Australia, Europe, Asia, African continent, well, it's red. So the average of people can live only about 30 years because the quality of life is not there, sanitation is not there, you have to strive for food and so on and so forth, right? And so it's very tough. What about 50 years ago? It's getting better. But better, the more green is mean, or the more blue is mean live longer. The pale is live shorter. Again, now disparity or inequity is getting very visible now, right? North America, Europe, Australia, very clear, right? And the poor area is still a lot, right? In the southern part of the globe, but except Australia and New Zealand. Now, this is back on 2021, so it's about 1 or 2 years ago. So the average is now getting better. The global average is 71 years, But in the wealthy countries, you can reach more than 80 in general, okay? Now, interestingly, this is from the World Economic Forum. The question is how countries compare on healthcare expenditure and the life expectancy. The question is, if you spend more money per capita, can you really make a difference on health in terms of life expectancy? So people can live longer if you put more money per capita. It seemed to be yes, seemed to be, with one exceptional. So Japan on the top, Thailand pretty good, even a bit better than US. That the world in green, India and Sub-Saharan Africa. Now, to make it easier to visualize, Japan now they live longest in average than the whole world. So 85, Singapore 84, and Korea. So it's these three high or the developed countries in Asia perform very well. Okay, UK, yeah, pretty good. Thailand, US, world, India, and Sub-Saharan Africa. The question is, investment really make difference. In overall, yes, but I give you a very quick example that the US is the worst country that spend a lot of money, but the income is poor, right? You look at that, the US spend 10,000 or 11,000 per capita and can reach only as good as Thailand. So it's about 70, this year probably 79 right now, yeah? You look at Thailand down here, the life expectancy allows 79, but we spend about up to 44 or per capita less. So it means efficiency or cost effectiveness of spending is also a problem, right? Of the challenge. Japan spend less than 2.5, 4 of the US, but have 85 years expectancy. Singapore about 244 lower. So spending alone is yes is the answer, but the system, the way to manage is also a thing that we have to think about. Now, I mentioned earlier that even the same country, so this is one of the UK country, right? So it's for Scotland. So Scotland, this is just I think the data came out in September, so a few months ago, and you see that in female in general in this room live longer than male, right? General. So least deprived and most deprived live 10 years different within the same country, right? Male 13 years different. So poverty is really a problem of that. Now, how about the inequity during pandemics, in this case COVID? This is the data showing that how fast each country can get access to the vaccine within at least the first year or less than 1.5 years during when the pandemic started. You look at this area, in African continent, the worst one, and other, right? Thailand also need to this it means will be widely available in that country. So Thailand, we start to have widely available vaccine, I think, years ago. So that the problem. Now, let's me put back to some of our works. So our vaccine research center, our goal in collaborating with one of the top scientists of mRNA vaccine, Professor Drew Weissman from UPenn. So we have the same mindset that we prefer to make this technology available for low and middle income countries. Okay, so we start this technology together with Drew, and then try to set up capacity building in this country, which is take time because we don't have manufacturer in Thailand that capable to make mRNA at the beginning until we get tech transfer and they have developed their own technology together with us. And it had been taken more than 2 years right now. Our vaccine had been tested in human. Data look good, but it needs some way to go. But at least all the capacity building had been set up. We are working for second generation right now, and hopefully, and our first generation vaccine now had been tested in Thailand. Data look very good, and the other study is conducting in Australia right now. So we have phase 1, 2 conducting it. But what I'm going to show to you is that we can move faster for the next pandemic or even the new variants if we get the first vaccine authorized by the FDA in at least at this country, because right now we are capable to set up the vaccine design, preclinical study, vaccine production in Thailand, and get into phase 1 with less than 6 months. So it means, of course, when Moderna can do it because they have big money and got a lot of money, they can do it less than 3 months. But at least in the past year, we need more than a year to get into clinical right now. So I think capacity building is also critical. In February, so I have it's my honor to have a chance to join a very distinguished member. We call the independent member to think about how to make not only vaccine, diagnostic tests, therapeutics when pandemic started for more people needed, not just only the wealthy countries, and come up with a statement in just recently come out a few days ago in Lancet. So the leader is led by I'm very impressed this lady, the former Prime Minister of New Zealand. So she's so Helen Clark. She's very committed to this type of accessibility. So ideally we should stop the epidemic before becoming pandemics, where and when and where they occur. And the way to do is not, because you see vaccine right now driven by market driven, right? You have money, you pay first, you get a lot. But if we think differently in the driven business model, it means vaccine and drug and diagnostic tests should try to make it available to most country or population needed as soon as possible. So the way is not market driven. It's just the requirement driven. And in this case, you can do differently. Not rely on just big 2 or 3 pharma, but you have a lot of capacity building, distributing globally. And the regional role and sub-regional role manufacturing capacity is very critical. Now, if we want to tackle in terms of health inequity for any particular focus, it really needs a good study design, and that data will guide us for seeking and implementing proper solution. So I like this slide from HIMSS, the organization in the U.S., because they're also facing health inequity a lot in U.S. I think if you look at the upstream fact-finding and then guiding to the downstream outcome and intervention in green, I don't want to go in detail, but you should focus on, is there any social inequity? How can we address it? Let's say racism, let's say immigration, gender, sexual oriented, right? So you identify each community issue. What the inequity in terms of the institutional, the policy, the law, and not so on. And how about the living conditions? So we're going to hear a lot about environment, and how about the risk behavior, and how about the disease, right? Because the downstream, that you start to see outcome at the end is the mortality rate, right? And then you can, when you get it, this is just some example data, interesting data from, the data is from a Thai group study led by Professor Viriyasak from Ju Songkhla Medical School. So this is based on the question, because Thailand have a very good universal health coverage programs, right? It's good, but still have some limitation. So what happened after implementing that for decades, the UHC, and in terms of mortality in different regions? Now this is just to give you the idea. If you look at the red, it means the province or region that still have a bit higher mortality rate. So anything above 1 is mean higher mortality rate. So the easy way to interpret. You see that the question why the northern part, which is a beautiful provinces in Thailand, have higher mortality, right? Why the northern part of the northeast Thailand also have high mortality? And if you live in the south, you live very happily, right? And if you look at the disease, right, the traffic injuries everywhere, right? Asthma, see? Asthma in the north, right? So environment should be a problem, right? HIV, okay, HIV a lot in the north as well. And if you look the age, also still stick in the northern part and the northeast region. But I give you some picture, but again, don't draw to a conclusion very quickly, but at least I give you some picture that if you look at the magnitude of pollution in the north, so you see the hotspot of the, either forest fire or the farmlands burning, you see that almost everywhere. In Thailand, the northern part, yeah, and Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, everywhere, yeah. This is the forest fire in Southeast Asia and also in Latin America as well and many other because of, yeah. So now let me end up with the school global health a bit that why we believe that the conventional medical school and hospital might not be able to play critical part in these challenges, but unless we work differently. So we have a lot of strength in the medical school, both basic science, and others. And the university also have a lot of strength. We have people expert in climate change, pollution, poverty, inequity, regional migration, One Health, and aging and other. So the only way to that as a medical school can generate some of the new generation that inspire to think beyond the hospital, beyond the clinic, and at least you can contribute in the part that you can do it. So School of Global Health is a platform to enhance, integrate, and facilitate this strength of the university and medical school and collaborate with the national and global health expert and so on to take that challenge and generate the next generation of workforce together. And this is our advisory committee, both international and local. And the goal is that to collaborate and partner with Thai research institutes, Ministry of Health, NGO. So the research question can come, not coming from doctor, but coming from, people that driving the policy and running the community, and also international research and academic institutes. So we hope that with this Thai approach, we can have more contribution to at least to solve this health inequity issue. And we try to do it as a tailor-made. So we're going to have a co-advisor both from a domestic and from international to coach them. And we have a facility, so some of you have maybe have visited. So I'd like to end by saying that to find a sustainable solution approach for addressing health inequity, definitely you cannot do it alone. You have to need a multidisciplinary, multi-partner consortium approach, government, community, academia, private sector, international organization, and be more focused and contribute as much as we could, and mobilize the resources very efficiently. And we definitely need innovation, both technological innovation, social innovation, and maybe administrative policy innovation for long-term solution. Political commitment is really very serious, but keep in mind, politicians, they short sight, right? They want to get things done in 1 year, 2 years, and then they're gone, right? So the one thing you can do is persistently have a peer pressure and discuss, regional global organization consortium are needed for large-scale solution. This is the ideal to solve the inequity. Instead of course, capitalism's approach is make most of technological company very aggressive to do business, but the goal is just please the shareholder and the boss, right? But not for the public. So in the challenge, we need to find solution of global common goods rather than market driven, particularly during pandemics and some of the challenging diseases. And local capacity building is very critical. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you. So we're not going to take the question after each speaker, so please write down your question, your comment. And now let me move on to the next speaker. It's my great honor to introduce Kun Penchom. Kun Penchom is one of the leading NGO working on ecology and environment. So I think this is a great honor to have her to join our panel. And she's going to share with us her view and her expertise and experiences and the thought that how we're going to address environmental issue. Ajahn Penchom, please.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for kind invitations for me to share. Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for kind invitations for me to share. Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for kind invitations.
It's echo. Is someone?
ปิดแล้วนะคะ Sorry. Thank you very much for the invitation for me to share the story and experience from my group to all of you today. The topic I'm going to present today is about the civic engagement in protecting environment and community health from industrial pollution. And topics that I am going to share today include Earth activity. Why is that? Earth and our activities and prevailing threats to health and well-being of Thai communities. And the third one is civic engagement in protecting environment and community health. And the last point is my conclusion. Earth is an environmental foundation. We start campaigning on industrial pollution since 1998 and registered as a foundation in 2009. Major issues that we have worked for around 20 years already is about environmental and health impact caused by industrial pollution and chemicals in product and environment. Activities that we helped carried on from the beginnings include environmental training, particularly training for community in the area that have been impacted, and support the community environment protection. We are also working on law and policy advocacy and conduct several scientific and action research. The first topics, the second topics, which I'm going to put some into details about the prevailing threats to health and well-being of Thai communities. The map on the screen showing the numbers of the factories across the country, but this number much decreased after the Ministry of Industry changed the factory law in 2019. So the scale and the size of the factory has been changed. So only the large, medium and large scale that are being controlled or regulated by the factory law. So the number are much decreased. The main problems that have the threat and the risk to the health, in my opinion, start from the ambition of the Thai government to be the economic power in Asia. At that time, the Thai government had no plan or no good plan on land use, and also had weak environmental management and pollution prevention. It is this situation also large until today. The first the large-scale industrial development program is the Eastern Seaboard Development Program, which started at the beginning of 1980. And now many people know about EEC. EEC is the third and fourth phase of the Eastern Seaboard Development Program, which cover the main three provinces like Rayong, Chonburi, and Chachoengsao. And according to the EEC law, it is easy to expand or include more provinces in the eastern region like Prachinburi and Sakeo. And we faced that we explore a lot of industrial development in Thailand, and we found many types of industries in Thailand had outdated technologies with low capacity in pollution control, and also lots of types of industry that being promoted by the government include those sunset industry and upstream in upstream production like petroleum production, electronic production, and now we also have the very rapid increase of hazardous waste recycling factories in Thailand. Apart from more than 130,000 factories across the country. At least we have more than 6,000 factories that are the major source of air pollution. Like in the north, we have more than 4,000. In the northeastern, we have the very huge number of factories that release or emit air pollution into environment. But the major and most hazardous air pollution emission are concentrated in the EEC area or Eastern Seaboard Development Area like Rayong Province, Chachoengsao, and Chonburi Province. Not only their ambitions to be the economic power, we found that the imbalance of state policy in investment between industrial economic growth and socio-ecological well-being, like the government has promote and develop several high incentives in industrial investment in different types of economic zones, like they have the many tax exemption and income exemption for income tax exemption, and the government established a large fund to promote trade competition. Also has many deregulations for industrial license and lots of measures to deregulate or loosen the factories control. But in contrast, we have very loose, weak environmental laws, particularly in environmental protection and pollution control and land use and city planning. As many people learn that we have very bad city planning policy and implementation. The The reason is about the misconception and fallacy in public participation. This is a big problem, and it has caused lots of conflict between government and communities across the country. As you can read and heard several news about people protest and confrontation between government officers and policemen and the community who not agree with investment like a coal-fired power plant and industrial estates or even the waste to energies. In Thailand, we have the very limited public consultation, and also that least some in some area that we found a distorted public hearing process. We have a big problem about public access to information, particularly those information about industrial emission and chemicals information. We have after the National Council for Peace and Order taken to the power since 2013. The government has dissolved a lot of public participation mechanism that allow public engagement in policy making process. Many mechanisms that allow the public to keep on monitoring state administration also being cancelled or dissolved too. From 2013 until now, we found a lot of problems like this happening because of the lack of public participation. And this map showing we collect statistics and information about the illegal dumping of hazardous waste or some types of waste across the country from 2017 until 2020. So we have many cases of illegal dumping of these different types of waste, particularly those industrial waste. So we have in Thailand we have many polluted area because of this problem, and these two maps showing the opposition of community to waste to energy projects. The government issues the national plan to cope with to try to solve the waste problem, but they put more emphasis on waste to energy without concerning to the economic cost effective or the pollution that might happen from waste to energy projects, particularly the air pollution. So several communities, since we have so many cases, we divided into map and two different times. On the screen you see that many of communities who really fears of pollution, air pollution, water pollution, and deterioration of agricultural farms. So when they know that the government try to promote waste to energy project in the area, they start organize themselves to campaign and protest on this project. Since because of in Thailand, we almost have no public policy plan and fund, particularly fund to recover ecological system, environment, and health of people that's damaged by industrial pollution and chemical contamination. On the screen, you see the map that we have many polluted place, contamination area, and those areas are covered mainly on agricultural farm or agricultural area. To the watershed area. But all these contaminated land have never been recovered from contamination or from chemicals, toxic chemicals. For this, this picture, for this one, Pollution Control Department estimate that if the government wants to recover the land, they need to use almost 2,000 million baht to recover the land. But we have so many places like this. This is the big problem that, and create major threats to environment quality and health of communities in each particular area. And the third topic that I would like to talk about today is civic engagement in protecting environment and community health. Since we have so many problems at the policy making process level and law enforcement, access to justice, so the communities mainly have to help themselves, have to organize their own campaign to work together closely with civil society, like my organization and many other organizations. Community movement and actions that we have experience with include maybe start from some activities just cover their own area until the national campaign level. Community they have keep on monitoring their environment. They have to observe change or some damage that happening in the area, and when they found some problem or irregularity or abnormality happen, or some problem happen, they made complaints to responsible agencies, begin from the Obato or sub-district administrative organizations. Until to the central government, community to community learning and sharings. Many communities, they have to help themselves by learning the experience from other communities who used to have the bad experience from industrial development. So we found many communities, they have to learn, they have to find communities who have been good experience in the campaign, and they learn each other and sharing experience with them or learn with them. Or many group organize street demonstration in case that their campaigns made no effect or couldn't help anything to improve the situation. Then they will apply more strong actions like street demonstration, protesting. And they're also seeking support and advice from outsiders like media, academics, and civil society. And the lawsuits almost are the final solution or final methods that they will use, because entering into the judicial process is very difficult and it is very suffering for the people. They have to collect evidence, they have to prove many things, and they have to spend a lot of money and at worst is spend very long time for each case. And we found that, my organization provides some lawsuit support for the community who file the lawsuits against the polluters in Ratchaburi province, in Rayong province, and in some other province. Even the court rule in favor of the communities, and has decided that the polluter has to responsible everything. But the big problem is those polluters declare that they have been bankrupt, or they make appeal and spend 5 to almost 10 years fighting in the court case. And the bad thing is the responsible agencies said that they never have the fund to recover the contamination area. So this is the situation is create more suffering for the people in living in neighborhood with the factories. We also work on conduct several research for actions and advocacy. When we conduct research, we have the direct target and clear objectives that our research that we will conduct will have to support the movements, the environmental movement or community campaign, or we have to use the result of the research to advocate for improvement of policy or law enforcement. Mainly issue-based research to support, like I said, legal enforcement and advocacy for policy change, negotiation to polluters. When negotiation between communities and the polluters, it is not an easy thing. So we have to support or assisting communities to collect evidence and to prove that like a wastewater release or discharge from this factory. So all these things and this process need collect information. and need to prove in some area need scientific proof to support negotiation and solution process. In the past, we have conducted several research to support like this. For example, the health impact in industrial area, persistent organic pollutants like POPs chemical under Stockholm Convention. We research on POPs accumulation in biosamples and environment. We conduct about the mercury in human body and food chain, and conduct research and study about heavy metals in environment and biosamples. And at present, we establish a citizen science approach to provide environmental and health training, strengthen community negotiation and problem solving in each locality. Like this picture showing part of our activity in provide training to communities, strengthening negotiation of the communities, and inspecting the pollution source together with a governmental agency. And we also have to create or collaborate with international partnership and also engage at the international campaign. So like we develop scientific. This is for the objective or the purpose to develop scientific knowledge and expertise for my own group that we need to use it to provide support for industrial pollution campaign. We had an international campaign engagement on some specific issues like chemical sound management, monitoring implementation of international conventions of the country, for example, Basel Convention, Stockholm Convention, and Minamata Convention. We have partnership with several international organizations like Open Research for Minamata Study, Anika Association, International Pollutant Elimination Network, Global Alliance for Incinerators Alternatives. And for my conclusion, I have only one point that I used to raise address in this meeting room. Like in my opinion, we have urgent need to environmental health and environmental literacy at all levels, particularly the levels of administration. The Thai government pay less attention, almost not interested in environmental quality protection. So I think environmental literacy is very neat and urgently need for the Thai government, for political parties, and including judicial process. Because based on the experience that we work with several case lawsuits, we found that we have lots of problems during this process. Academic professional institutions, we need support from experts, academics from many universities that are also lawyers to work on this area. Business sector that we need their accountability. So they need to see importance of environment, impact, and general public. That is also the fundamental factors that general public need to help develop on this issue. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ajahn Penchom. So we have seen that in the aspect of environmental health and the negative effect in terms of the unclear state policy and the industrial related pollution issue it needs a lot more effort to come up with a real impact solution. So the next our speaker is Ajahn Supha Yaimuang. So she's a founding director of Sustainable Agricultural Foundation, Thailand. Again, so now we're going to change gear a little bit from health inequity, environment, health into the food security approach and experiences. So please welcome Ajahn Supha. Yeah, please.
Thank you อาจารย์เกียรตินะmy presentation I would like to share about my experience to work with the farmers in the agricultural sector and also my foundation moved to work with the urban people last 10 years ago. So I will share you on the what happened when we talking about the food security and then health problem. The topic or the theme of this seminar is the health equity and civic engagement and social innovation. So I would like to clarify about the health equity in our network experience to strengthen the people's rights to access health system and also the healthy is not only good health but also well-being. I think that Dr. Kiet already mentioned this kind of concept, so my presentation will be on this. I will present mostly the community and civil society engagement on health system. The first on my experience is the food security as a healthy and well-being, and also food and herbal medicine is the primary health care that we work with the farmers and also the urban people. And the last one is the community participation to the national health insurance system and innovation on healthcare system. Maybe start from the crisis and then live out the knowledge until now. For the food security, the healthy and well-being, I have three topics on this. One is we are trying to convert from the conventional agriculture of farming to the organic agriculture and strengthen the self-reliance on food for the community and urban people. The second one is the biodiversity is because that means nutrition. You come with the diversity of food and because we have the problem of monoculture in farming and the policy on agriculture, they have focus on the monoculture and they focus on the quantity of productivity in the agriculture sector. So the problem, so many problems follow with this kind of concept and pattern of production. And the last one is sustainable food system that we are trying to strengthen to be the sustainable food system, not only the general food system. One problem of the agriculture pattern in convention is affected from green revolution. That is a problem from pesticide and residue that we found that it affected to the health of the people and also the health of the farmers and also the consumers. So we are trying to converting chemical to organic rice farming, and the organic rice farming we found that we have so many local varieties of rice, not only one or two varieties of rice. So we have collaboration with the farmers who have the local knowledge on their own rice and try to do some research on the diversity of rice seed, and we are trying to do more on the quality of cultivation to be the organic. After we do this for more than 10 years, after WTO have a policy on intellectual property rights, so we are trying to research with the farmer and recover so many local variety of rice and we found that so many varieties of rice come up, and we send the rice to Mahidol University to study on nutrition value of rice, especially local rice, and some rice there is different color of rice, and that means that the nutrition or antioxidant in rice have important, not more than not only the rice, the white rice, but the color full of rice is meaningful. And now we are trying to promote to the consumer also. Another one is self-reliance on rice and rice to food. We think that food security is not only the quantity, but it means that the people or the farmers or consumer have to rise to food, and we trying to support them to do some kind of biodiversity and organic farm in rice, vegetable and fruit tree also. And we found that our local wisdom on farming, they protect the biodiversity on farm. You can see the local varieties of vegetable in our food, not and if we not promote, it means that this food, local food, will disappear. And also we are trying to do link the cycle of food, like the resources and genetic resources production, and also to the consumer. This one is the vegetable, no? Another one is biodiversity on the fruit tree. You can see this is in the southern of Thailand. This is in the southern of Thailand, Kiliwong. The fruit tree orchard is look like the forest, and this preventing some kind of land slides, and also this is the organic. So the good quality of fruit tree come up from this orchard, and the left one is from the public land of the one district in Yasothon. So we found that so many varieties of vegetable and also fruit tree from the local wisdom. Also, we are trying to do the organic seed by farmers, collect the seed for their own vegetable growing, and also we are trying to support the farmers to do collecting and then improving seed by the farmers. Not only because in Thailand the seed collecting and improving in Thailand the policy support the academic to do, but not the farmers. And we are trying to support the farmer to do this. And the seed is really important for food, because this is a resource, and also during the climate change right now, we need the seed that can be cope with the problem of climate change also. Another one that we are trying to do the relationship between the rural and urban to the healthy food, because food is not only for eating, but food is the knowledge, food is culture. So we should know about many menus of food that maybe now maybe fusion or the local food, and link to the health literacy, things like that. And we have to strengthen the green market in the province and the district overall in Thailand. We are trying to promote them. And this kind of activity not only not only the market or the food, but it means that we are trying to distribute the market and the consumer can access the market not only in the supermarket or in the market that we cannot control about the quality of food, but we are trying to have many kind of market in Thailand. Another moving of my experience on my foundation is the urbanization. Last 10 years we found that urbanization now Thailand have more urban area more than rural area, and in the next the information, the data indicate that urbanization will expand to the rural area more than now, and the problem is because of climate change, so urban cannot live like now, but we have to move forward to cope with the climate change. Another one is a disaster. Last more than 10 years in Bangkok, and now in so many places in the city, and also the problem of food security and equality, and also the quality of life. My foundation try to do how the urban can access the good food and have a food security in the urban area. We support the urban people, the city people, to know about how to grow food by themselves and also have their own self-reliance on food and also the food literacy, because when they grow vegetable, they have to know how to cook and how to mix. Literacy about the vegetable, rice or the other food linked with the healthy. So this is a product from urban farming. This is in Bangkok, but we have city farm or urban farming in Chiang Mai, Khon Kaen, Hat, Songkhla, and the other big city in Thailand. We found that our city farm, the urban people can have self-reliance on food, about 30% of food that they eat, and they can access to safety food and reduce the family cost on food. This is our research that conduct last 2 years, and we are trying to linking between the urban people and the farmers, so the urban people can get the organic food to the farmer also if they cannot produce, and linking the urban farming to the knowledge on primary health care, and we have so many groups on traditional primary health care, on traditional medicine or take care the local from the local wisdom, and also we found that when we do the urban farming, it can be linking to the health care, like the physical of in the hospital, also apply the vegetable growing to the patient, and also one group in Chonburi in Sriracha also apply the vegetable orchard to the mental health, to the people who have the mental health problem, and now they are trying to what we call the live up our activity. So the urban farming not only growing vegetable, but also it can be linked to the other activity related to the health problem, but it depends on the group of the people and the network of the people. Like some group, she is the doctor in mental doctor in the hospital and can share with us about how urban farming related to the mental health problem. We expect that if urban farming can expand, it will change landscape to green city, and if we can create the green city, the healthy will be for all, not only special group. And this one we need the policy to support us and change the landscape in the city now, and also change the landscape in the rural area, because now we cope the problem with climate change, and we are trying to do or to have some research with the farmers how to convert the chemical to the organic farming and also agroecology. So the landscape should be changed in rural area and then urban area also. Another one is I think that our experience we found the social network during have a COVID-19 crisis last 2 or 3 years. Our network, the City Farm Network, they are trying to get the donation from the people, and then because during that time the farmer cannot sell their own product because of shutdown, and also the urban people have the problem because the urban poor, they have no space to separate the pattern, and they have need food, organic food, and also need to do some activity like the home isolation for the urban poor community. So we link with the community and also our network trying to create some activity to support them. And also in the urban poor community, they have the activity to organize themselves like the self-management on food for the vulnerable people during COVID-19. Vulnerable people, it means the handicapped or the the patient who cannot move themselves. And then since COVID-19 until now, they are trying to adapt themselves and activity to try to set up what they call health center in the community, in the urban poor, in Bangkok and the other city in Thailand. So now we have the community healthcare center. This developed from home isolation to the health center, and the left photo. This is during COVID-19. They cannot access the vaccine, so the Housing Foundation try to link between the hospital and the community to get to the health, to can access the vaccine, and also what you call the knowledge through how to take care of the patient during that time. And another one is this foundation, the Housing Foundation, that trying to strengthen the system, the health insurance system, to take care of the people who have no identity card because so many people, more than 100,000 people have no identity card, so they cannot access the public, the national health insurance. And this one is the activity that civil society and the community try to have some collaboration together. And the last one, now we are trying to do the health center for the urban poor people. Maybe someone can visit us in the afternoon. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, I really been inspired at a lot of work and information that's really amazing. I think it really, I love the word, the term that sustainable food system in different setting. This is amazing, and it has been proven that just only one way to make things significantly change is to empowering the community to get stronger and with the good support from various sectors. I think this is really, I think university and school have to learn a lot from this type of foundation. We really appreciate it. Now let me move on over to our last panelist. She is very kind to, fly from, a long distance from Canada to join this seminar. So Dr. Paula, and she's a senior lecturer of the Faculty of Health Science from Simon Fraser University, Canada. So her focus will sharing with us in terms of how to get the student to engage to civil engagement, and that will, I think this is the way that as the academic center is to generate next generation to understand community. I think that's very, very critical. So please, Paula.
Thank you so much. Very much appreciate being here and the kind invitation from our esteemed colleagues here at Chula University. And I'm very excited to be able to go on the visits this afternoon and see some of the amazing work that we were just presented here from our colleagues and partners. My work is very centered on social innovation and community engagement. So you are my community today. So I'm going to ask stand up for a moment and do a little bit of stretching because I know we've been sitting for a long time. So please stand up. This is good for your health and your well-being. If you want to raise your arms at the top, try to reach the sky as high as you can go, then maybe all the way down to acknowledge all of this beautiful land here in this beautiful country. Okay, you may now stretch. I think we up a little bit. Okay. So the reason why I do that is I think it's very important to engage our students in this work around how do we actually start to have some influence on what Dr. Kiet was talking about in terms of the social determinants or all of these factors that influence our health so that go beyond the health system. So my work has really been to promote some community academic partnerships in the civil society organizations, so to get our students activated so that they feel that they have a contribution to make in terms of promoting health and well-being at the community level. That's what I'll be talking about today, and I'll be sharing some examples from some social innovation laboratories that I have been working on, and also exploring some of the ethical and equity dimensions that have come up in the work. So that's what we'll be chatting about. But I wanted to know from here, how many are students here in global health? Do we have any students? Okay. And do we have academic partners in the room from different parts of the university? Yes, okay, a few. And then civil society organizations? A few. Business school or business innovation folks? Okay, great. Anybody that I missed? I want to know where you're coming from so that it'll, nursing, great. Okay, anybody else? Education, okay. Thank you. That's helpful for me. Okay, so I moved to, do you want me to, okay, I can just move the slides. Okay, do I just, which one is here? This one? Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to start just by honoring, I am based in Canada. I work at the University of Simon Fraser University, which is in the west part of Canada. But I wanted to honor that I actually come from Latin America. I was born in Chile. I saw Dr. Kiat, your slides of Chile has a very, very good life expectancy right now. There's been a lot of changes in that country for a while, but I wanted to say that this is one of my, I consider Paulo Freire, who's from Brazil, he was a legendary educational philosopher, and he, I like to honor his work because he always was trying to get us to think about how do we engage with the real world. So moving beyond our academic centers and looking at how do we engage students in a way that the ways that we teach them actually support their growth, their leadership development, and also civic engagement. And so that's the work that I'm trying to do in my university. So what are social innovation labs? So I just wanted to say that this is a new area, and innovation, social innovation in health is a very new area to explore. So if anybody's interested in looking at that more deeply, I'm very happy to share more on this later. But sometimes we have innovation labs that think of it as like we're having experiments, but instead of technology innovation, which usually we hear about, there's a great new app that helps us, manage our mental health stress, for example. And you are all very comfortable. I mean, here in Thailand, every day, everywhere we go, people are using apps for something, So I know we're very used to tech innovations, but social innovation is about how do we use our resources to support social change to promote inclusiveness and equity. So it's very, very connected to the Professor Kiat's conversations earlier around how can we transform and improve health and well-being by looking at ways that use the co-creation of novel solutions. So how do we position ourselves in academia to work with our students to support civil society organizations to co-create knowledge? And sometimes we have to really be promoting multiple stakeholder engagement, because going back to Professor Kiat's slide at the beginning, remember how he mentioned that health is really only 20% is determined by the healthcare system. So what about the rest of the systems? What about the education system, the policy areas, the business? We need to be able to engage them if we actually want to promote health and well-being. And this is what a lot of the work on the, the UN Sustainability Development Goals is about, that multi-sectoral engagement, right? And so this is one of the tools that we can use in terms of looking at higher education institutions and looking about how can we engage researchers to support some of the advocacy that our colleagues here mentioned is so important to be able to advance policy. So I'm going to share an example. This is the Health Change Lab, something that we developed back in 2017 with my colleagues from the business school. And I wanted to just share that it is in the city of Surrey, which is one of our municipalities in British Columbia, in the province where I come from. I wanted to share that in Canada, we often will acknowledge the Indigenous people of where we are situated. And so the area where Simon Fraser University is on the land of the unceded Coast Salish people. And this initiative here was in the city of Surrey, which is a very interesting city because it's growing very fast and there's lots of newcomer populations. So Professor Kiat talked about the refugee population impacted by health inequities. This is a very important one because many Indigenous people also that are coming from other areas of British Columbia end up in urban centers like the city of Surrey, and their health is also compromised because of the social and living conditions that they face. Similarly, with a lot of the newcomer population, refugees that come from different parts of the world, a lot of them land in Surrey. And so Surrey also has a very mixed agriculture and urban land, and so it's a very prime place for innovation. And the city of Surrey has been working in partnership with our university for quite some time in terms of figuring how do we work together to promote sustainability and health. So this program, here is our first cohort in 2016, and it is a 3-credit program that we developed with health sciences, which is my faculty, and the business faculty. One semester, 25 students from any discipline. So we had students from political science, we had students from engineering, arts and design, and we had 3 instructors to guide them through this program. And so our frameworks and approaches that we used, very important to think about systems because we are all interconnected with one another and the systems are also very complex. And so how do we navigate this? By understanding how we are connected to each other, but also how the systems are connected. So for example, I work in an academic system, but my work is very connected to the health system or connected to civil society. So for students to understand the global picture is very important to think about systems and how do the things connect with one another. And it's also at the core of public health, right? If we don't understand how systems work, we cannot promote public health. And so this is important. The other aspect is transdisciplinary approach. We have found that it's not just enough to promote interdisciplinary academic knowledge, but we really need to move in honoring the community's knowledge, what the community has that is so valuable. And Ms. Supa, when you were speaking today about the knowledge of that food brings, the knowledge around culture and understanding and connection with one another. So this is very important that we understand that we can't just be academics talking to academics. We have to, and if we're going to really solve the complex problems in society, including the health, we need to make sure that we're bringing in community partners. Participatory approaches are very important so that people feel that they have an impact, that they can actually be involved in the decisions that are impacting their health. So I come from the field of health promotion, and health promotion is all about us gaining control over the conditions that are impacting our health. So how do we do that? And the last thing is that this program was developed using a human-centered design approach, and I will talk a little bit about that afterwards. So how did we engage the community? Well, the students went and had site visits with the municipality as a starting point. So the municipality that I mentioned before, the City of Surrey, they were very keen in understanding how we can bring students and academic partners to support the priorities of the City of Surrey. And it turns out that the City of Surrey had a wonderful framework that was around advancing sustainability, social sustainability, economic sustainability, and environmental sustainability. So we were very supported by the municipality to bring students on board to help us. The second slide here is that we had some very important colleagues come to the classroom. So the students were out in the community, but we also had colleagues. So the lady that's there, she is the Chief Medical Health Officer for Fraser Health Authority, which is the very large health authority that governs the City of Surrey. And so we had lots of people come to the classroom and share what are the needs of the communities with the students, so that the students had a vision of where they were going, and it wasn't just what they were doing in their research, but they actually was connected to the priorities of both the municipality that governs the living conditions of people, but also the health authority, which of course is in charge of primary care as well as all the medical system larger. So it was very engaged from both of those aspects. Oops, I went back there. So these are from the first cohort in 2016, these are the priority areas that the community identified for the students. So they said, sure, we would love to work with you, but we want you to work on the problems that really matter to us. And so these were the things that identified active transportation, making sure that people were using public transport, for example, or their bicycles, and there's some areas that we can still do that in Canada. Healthy aging, making sure that, people were supported as they aged, to ensure that that was very, part of the way that we even design our cities. So, for example, there's a whole movement around making sure that people, that you can be using walking distances for people that are aging, so that there's places where they can stop or maybe get water, things like that, that are very important, so that they can participate in their community and not age in a nursing home or in a hospital, right? So that's very important. Food security was a very important topic. Again, this is, very much connected to the conversation, is like food is such an important resource, but also there are many people who don't have access to healthy food that's affordable in Canada. So you think that Canada is a very rich country. Well, we are a very rich country, but we have a lot of inequities and we have a lot of poverty. We have people in my city, in Vancouver, that live on the street, if you can believe that. And so this is a very important issue for us to solve. Poverty and food security are very connected. Chronic disease prevention, I don't think I need to mention to that, but this is one of the leading causes of global health issues right now. Heart disease, diabetes, we know mental health is also a very important aspect. Mental health and substance use, we have a crisis in Canada right now, an opioid crisis, where people have been using illicit substances, or sometimes it has been legalized in some cases, and we're in this very important moment right now of understanding how to shift our policy so that we can actually support people that are using substances in ways that don't cause harm to them. So this is something very important right now in our political conversations, and many people are for legalization, many people are against. It's a very hot topic. And cultural safety. So this was referring to how do we support people that are coming from different cultures that have different priorities, even in the ways in which they look at health, right? So our Indigenous population, for example, if they don't feel safe, they will not go to primary care. They will not go to the hospitals, and then they will end up getting worse in their condition. So this is also very important. So this group here I highlighted is one of the teams. They worked in teams and students, about 4 or 5 students. The name that they chose was the Pit Crew, and they were interested in the active transportation piece as it connected to culture. So how do we promote active transportation for people that are coming from different cultures where maybe they don't even understand how to navigate the transportation system? Maybe they don't understand even the road safety. And so I just wanted to point out that they come from different areas, one from business, one from kinesiology, one from interactive arts and technology, and the other one from health sciences. So this is very, very important point, because I found that the best solutions came because the students got to engage in dialogue with one another, understand their own perspectives that they were bringing, and really listen to how other people viewed these complex problems. And I think that that's something that I would really love to promote more, of like understanding how important it is that we listen to each other, especially now with all of the divisiveness politically that Dr. Kiad was talking about. Is if we cannot listen to each other and learn from one another, it's going to be incredibly hard to solve some of these big challenges that we have in society. This is an example of another team that was working on this food security issue. And so this is one of my students here. She was out in the community. Again, it was about knowledge sharing. It was about sharing with, as you can see there, information and resources. So the literacy piece that you were talking about, cooking demonstrations, offering the people healthy options that were affordable, and this is a very important aspect. So the partners at the bottom were many different civil society organizations, foundations, the city that were putting together
this festival, a neighborhood gathering, and so our students participated, and they were volunteers at the event. They learned from the community, again, got to listen to how the community views the problems around food security, which is very different than just doing your research on your computer, right? When you listen to people, it's a very transformative experience. So some of the benefits for the students is that the students got to work with these mentors in the community. They got to establish relationships that also serve them once they graduate, right? And they were really excited about solving real-world problems. They came up with different prototypes that were about the complexity, and they also gained a lot of practical and leadership skills, how to communicate, how to engage with community partners, how to engage with the people from the municipality. They speak a different language than we speak in sometimes. So the other part that was very important is that the students told us that this program allowed them to build social connection, even with one another, because they were coming from different faculties. And so it allowed them to understand each other and maybe opportunities that they hadn't had before in the university. Some of the important things from the academic side of the house is that experiential learning and civic engagement is very important to our universities. And so this was it became a priority program that allowed from the academic side of the house to build stronger relationships and also, of course, attract more students, because that's one of the reasons why they were interested in us supporting this partnership. What did the community stakeholders tell us? Well, we did a little bit of a study to find out what were some of the barriers that they experienced and also some of the assets. And they said that they really appreciated shifting the ways that they were thinking about the problem as the students got involved in the conversations with them. And so they were saying that they really felt that the timelines, because it was an academic program, one semester, made it very challenging for the community partners to participate. So they were saying that they would love for this to be a longer term relationship, right? And this is also very important, is that when we're working with civil society organizations, we also have to think about their timelines. It's very different from the academic timelines, right? And so how do we support this moving forward is to continuously try to build those relationships and create the partnerships that are long lasting, that we can share some common goals together. So I will go through this a little bit quickly, but sometimes we felt that there was no point person at the municipality the first year that we did this. So it was very, very hard, because I would say, hey, do you know anybody that's working on food security? And then they would connect me to the person. And then I would be like, hey, do you know anybody that's working on mental health? So I was going to back and forth many times, and we really needed to have better coordination. So this was one of the big issues that was highlighted the first time that we did this. And so there was also a recognition that there was a lack of capacity for the staff, both from the municipal sector and as well as from the civil society, to actually work with students. It was the first time for many of them. So there was a lot of learning that we did this first year. So what we did after that is that we developed a 3-year partnership that was really focused on supporting students in a more coordinated fashion and thinking about how can we engage students again in experiential learning, focusing on, this is what the city looks like, and you have the mountains in the back, and there's some agricultural land on the left side there. But we really wanted civic innovation to be at the heart of student learning, and so there was a pilot project where the municipality gave us some money to hire a coordinator, so that I wasn't going back and forth between departments, but now there was one person that was the main contact, and it really supported us to do this. So this was the goals of this Surrey City Lab. It was focused on that sustainability charter that I mentioned earlier, that has focus on inclusion, public safety, ecosystems, education and culture, health and well-being. And so the students, all of the projects had to do with this framework, and they were really focused on aligning their work, focusing on real world issues, right? So this was the benefit for the students, And it was a huge benefit for the municipality as well to be able to engage students in this work. This was one of the prototypes that came out. One of the teams was working to support refugees in this area, as I mentioned earlier, because refugees often feel excluded. They don't understand how to navigate the system. They don't understand the language. It's a very different culture. And so they created a coloring book that was aimed for the students, for the children of the families that were coming to the city. And the coloring book was a very interesting and innovative idea that the students had that came from the community conversations, right? It wasn't that the students all of a sudden had this brilliant idea. The community said, you know what? The refugee families come, they don't know how to go to the library, they don't know where to go for support for primary care. But if we have a coloring book that the children have to do, the parents will be helping them to do the drawings. And this was very clever, and we ended up doing this. It became a book that then we offered at the library at the university. And so this was a news report that they did about this innovation, which was, if you think about it, it's so simple, a coloring book, but it really helped the families to help navigate the systems that were all new to them, you know. So sometimes I say, you know, innovation is not necessarily this big, expensive thing, but it's about listening to the community. One of the things that I was really thinking about as I was doing this work is how do we make sure that we're not doing harm in the community in the ways that we approach them. Often, you know, researchers and academics, we have a reputation of just going out there, getting data, and then walking away and publishing something in a journal that the community will not benefit from, right? And so this was very important to me. And so how do we make sure that we're prioritizing the needs of the community? And so I wanted to bring this to your attention, and I will be closing soon, but these are some of the ethical principles that we can think about when we're doing community engaged health promotion. So thinking about communication, like how do we communicate in a way that's transparent and builds trust with the community? How do we examine the power? So part of what my class did is that every student had to do an exercise where they were journaling every week, understanding the power and the privilege that they have as university students to be able to actually do this work with community. It's very important for them to unpack some of the biases that we have, especially people that are very privileged that have the ability to get an education, right? And so I think that that's one of the things. Focus on relationship building. I talked about the importance of that earlier. And also making sure that what we were doing was action-oriented and to the benefit of the community. So we weren't just doing this to write papers. We weren't just doing this as a course, an experiential course where students get credits. We wanted to make sure that the outcomes of these projects were of benefit to the community. And this is one of the examples of a project that came out. It is a walking tour. So one of my students was working with the municipality, and they said, you know, we have a big issue here with road safety. Too many people, unfortunately, are having accidents and fatal accidents. And how can we reduce this in the city? So this young man was very interested in working with the city, and what they decided that it was the newcomer population, there was an opportunity for them to be engaged, the young people, and share what they thought was their solution for the problem. So what they said to us is that they wanted a walking tour so that they could meet other people from their culture, from their community that were also new in the city of Surrey, and that they could be engaged through arts. So we have this very engaging arts work that, you know, they come together with art, music, sometimes drawing, and they tell us what they want in the walking tour so that it meets their needs. And one of the really beautiful things, we're at the stage now of doing focus groups with the young people, and they said that there's all kinds of things that they're learning about besides road safety. So this is the beautiful thing, is that when you really listen to the young people, they will tell you what you need to do to support them, but they also felt it was very important for them to have a voice, you know, to be able to actually be a part of the policy recommendations that the municipality is going to promote in the future is that they know that their voices are being heard, and that's really, really important in this work. And I will skip that one. So my conclusions are, after reflecting on this work now that it's been going on for quite a while and there's many different iterations that we've been doing, is really set. Did you try again? my telephone's telling me to try again. So one of the things I wanted to share is like really focusing on the experiences that we call often, we're talking about the lived experiences of people in the community. They have the solutions. We just need to make sure that we're giving them the resources and the support so that they can move forward on the policy recommendations or other things that they require. Fluid and adaptable to diverse settings. So this is something that the students really had to adapt, coming from a very more traditional, academic background, and having to go into community and having to figure out how am I communicating with people. What is the different approaches that I need to have, but also understanding that we couldn't just create a prototype that was for a particular context and then say this is going to work in every context, because this is really important. The relationships that we had, for example, in the city of Surrey made this work possible. It wouldn't be the same if I said, okay, I'm going to another city now and I'm going to do a walking tour. Do you see what I mean? It's very important to take into consideration the relationships and the stakeholders and the context. And then finally, making space for co-creation, collaboration, and power redistribution is very important because, when we talk about health inequities, as Professor Kiat said, it's like a lot of it is because there's a lot of people that have, the resources and they have the power to make decisions that are impacting our health. Our colleague was talking about the pollution problems. Well, if we had the opportunity to have youth engaged in policy recommendations, they would tell you, we want to protect our environment because we're going to be around, you're not, right? And so how do we support a co-creation where we can come up with solutions and give young people spaces so that they can actually bring forward those recommendations and support their own communities. And the last slide is just my contact information if you wanted to reach out. And this book has a chapter where I speak about some of the ethical and equity dimensions that I spoke to that come up in this work when you're working, trying to support community academic partnerships. So thank you so much. I really appreciate being here today.
Thank you very much. Again, another topic that we learn how to link the education to, during generating a new generation to learn by engaging with the community and also try to build, contribute some of the impact on that community as well. So I think maybe we need another stretching again before we go to start a panel discussion. Maybe everyone please stand up again and then reaching out to the sky and moving around a bit, and feel free to take a few minutes to restroom or whatever. But so we're going to have another half an hour. So I think it really. I really mean that I'm learning a lot because most of the time I'm working in the lab, in the medical school, But this is amazing of sharing the expertise, knowledge, and different approach. And the whole world and each society needs this kind of multidisciplinary, sectorial approach. And in the meantime, we are. As a panel, I don't know, most of us, at least 3 of us, older than 60. And then so we need more new generation, to get involved in this kind of long-term sustainable world and the country and the society. Now, let me, so some probably living for a while for the rest. And then there's maybe I'm not sure that we can see some of the questions from online. If anyone can gather this question. So before we're going to start the panel discussion, I'd like to get some input, comment, question from the floor. Yeah, please. I see a couple of hands. Please go ahead. Yeah, you need.
Thank you very much for very. Thank you very much for enlightening presentation. I'm Rie Atari. I'm Japanese education consultant, and it was a very rich information data, and I learned a lot. But that means I was amazed how ignorant. Security, I didn't know, but I should be aware of. And since I work in the field of education, I have two questions. One, I thought that these things should be taught at the basic education level. I was thinking in the existing curriculum, there's really no segment we can, that small primary school, secondary school children can learn. There are some elements in the curriculum, but not as an integrated approach. So I was wondering what you think about it. Another question is, you mentioned about the engagement to the community, and I consider it as a part of lifelong learning for the public. And I understand that you, as a university foundation NGO, you're trying to make a great effort to engage in the community, but how to scale up, how to reach out to more, let's say as a national level. I would like appreciate your thought about this one. Thank you.
Okay, so any of the panel would like to address? I think the first question is that should we, or maybe some countries are already doing it, should we integrating this type of knowledge, information, even in the early educational curriculum, primary school and others? So please, Paula or anyone else? Potential.
Yeah, I completely agree with your idea or your reflection. Since we used to discuss in a small group that we need to do some change, particularly the educational system. I mean the mainstream or the formal education system, that we need to change some curriculum since the primary school level, and to provide more environmental health literacies at the school, from primary school until the university level. Yeah, totally agree, and it is very important.
Thank you.
In fact, I think that it's really important that the children or the student, because we found that most of the people don't know about the food, the raw material of food cooking come from maybe in the village or the global. So it's really important to have some learning for the people, for the children. Now we are trying to link between the group of the farmers to the school to send the organic food to the school and also the hospital. But it's very difficult because the policy, even the policy said that they have the policy to accept the organic food to the school or to the hospital, but in terms of implementation it's very difficult. But we are trying to do, maybe we have to do about the food literacy of the people, and also from the hospital, and also the people, general people.
Thank you. Yes, I completely agree as well. And I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive with my comment, but I think we need to really transform all of education in order to solve these problems. And the reason I'm saying this is because now, with the use of technology, if you think about it, the other day I had to present something and I said, oh, my students are using Chat GPT. I'm going to see what this is about. And so I said, I asked, these questions, and it gave me, very good answers. Not perfect, of course, but I was testing it in my field. And so thinking, with all of the technology that students have available now, what are we teaching them? And I think that there's a push. I really feel we need to be thinking about the civic engagement piece, how do we engage students very young age? And those skills, like listening to people, having public participation, advocacy, those things you're not going to get them from an app. You have to be in interaction with people, and I think that that's something that we can start, at a much younger age. And I think that the way I look at it now is that, like you were saying, that people don't understand where food is coming from. Some people have, some children, especially in the urban centers, they don't have a connection to the land at all. And so, promoting land-based education, I think, is really important. Promoting more, civic engagement so that young people can get involved in their communities and start thinking about these big problems. Because, the students that I talked to, they said, I wish that I had had this when I was in my secondary school, in high school. I wish we had, so the university students want it earlier. Secondary students, are saying, I wish we had it when I was in my elementary school, so that I could actually, contribute and understand. So I think that we really need to think, very, very deeply about what is the purpose of our education systems, and how can we use them, going back to the comments around building common good, I think there's a lot that we can do together, but we need to find ways to collaborate and start thinking differently about the way even that we teach. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I fully agree that the whole world educational system needs to be seriously transforming. Although some of the community or some country, they start to do that So I think the learning totally within the classroom alone and with a lot of textbook is failure, totally failure. I think we need to tailor-make that educational system. Yeah, and
I would like to add
yeah,
a little
please.
bit more.
Yeah.
Not only the formal education system. I think informal sector also is very important. On-site learning. On-site learning is very helpful and can encourage the visuality of the people, the students, to learn at the real situation. Just last year and this year that we have received field trips from students in Japan to groups when they visit have the on-site visits to the polluted places in Thailand and organic farming. They are very encouraging and show their very interest, express their interest and very impressive to what they have seen and on the site, and also show their interest to come back to work with the communities in future. So this can create something that connect people to each other, not only in Thailand but between country and country.
Thank you. Yeah, please. Could you introduce yourself in short, please, before question?
Yes, thank you very much, Ajahn Kiat. My name is Steve Mills. I'm a social epidemiologist with FHI 360, formerly known as Family Health International. My question is, so when I listen to all of the presentations, I think we all realize this kind of great work that all of you are doing takes money. And Thailand has an excellent history of getting money for health-related work from the alcohol and tobacco tax that ended up forming what's known as the Thai Health Promotion Foundation, or SOSOSA, as we know here. However, SOSOSA doesn't, to my knowledge, doesn't invest that much in environmental related issues. It's more with many other health issues. So my question or comment is, I know that Thailand is considering a carbon tax, and I wonder if part of the planning for that should be for the establishment of perhaps a Thailand Environmental Foundation that might be able then to get that tax and then be able to fund the types of projects that we have heard about today. Maybe that idea is already out there, but I'd be curious to hear from those of you who have spoke today what you think of that idea. Is it feasible? Is it something to maybe have advocacy for the future? Thank you very much.
Maybe Ajahn Penchom may be the right person to address. Yeah, I think it's very...
Ajahn Penchom would probably...
Yes, please.
Thank you very much for the questions. Like you talk about SOSOSO, like my organization received fund support from SOSOSO for many years to communities and to develop something like an environmental training curriculum. And just the last 2 years, that SOSOSO has increased their interest and more support on environmental, particularly those issues regarding to the environmental health and industrial pollution and municipal waste and other types of waste, for example. So they try to connect more. Maybe from the last years, for the last 5 years, they connect more between civil society groups and governmental agencies to work together to try to improve the environmental situation. And now they have several projects, supporting projects to economics and civil society to focus on air pollution, like PM 2.5 in the northeastern, central, and southern region, for example. Yeah. Also, PSUPA also received funding support for promoting city farming from SOSOSO, particularly those COVID time and before and after COVID time.
Yeah, I think SOSOSO is the committee is very proactive into supporting a lot of good programs. Yeah, but eventually, I mean, if the country can have such another organization have a well-funded for environment, that would be great. Yeah. Any other question from the audience? Both any online question? Have you seen any online question? Okay. Yeah, please. Yeah, introduce yourself in short. Yeah, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Jin Yuan. I'm a research fellow from London at CHILA this year. Thank you very much for your presentations. So I was hearing maybe a bit of contrast between the importance of engaging civic society in lots of different issues which concern them, then also, I think Ajahn Penchom, you were talking about maybe policies restricting the access of participation within issues which are really important to the communities. So I'm wondering two things. What ways can we sort of engage with people who don't want to be engaged with in terms of bigger sort of structures who don't want to have this participation, but actually we really think it's important for us as civic society to engage. You know, you mentioned protests, but I wonder whether there's anything else. And the second thing is, how can we know that we've been heard by these but they're not sort of communicating that with us? Thank you.
Yeah.
ป้องกันไม่ให้เราเข้าถึงใช่ไหมเราจะ engage เขาโดยไม่ใช่ protest อย่างเดียวมันมี mechanism.
Yeah, thank you for the questions. It is a very good question. I research my understanding that I have the correct understanding. Yeah, we have worked with. It is very difficult to work on industrial pollution issue in Thailand to campaign on that and to we met with several failure in advocate for the politicization or law enforcement or improvement of the environmental law. It is very discouraging, but we still working because of we have some hope that it will be in a better way. And because of the communities, they are very alert and get well aware to the situation of environment and importance of natural resource. That a community in many provinces, they have organized their own campaign and movement. So like the law of civil society, like and many other groups. Need to provide support and try to connect different sources of like a fund and assistance to support the movement at the local level. Like my group, we work closely with communities to try to solve the pollution problem. But now we with the trend and alertness of the communities. Right now, in my opinion, the governmental agencies at different levels, at central level or at the local level, now they cannot ignore the voice of the community because they themselves they have encountered with serious problem of deterioration of environment and natural resource destruction. And at some places, it can shake up the stability of the government itself. So now, not engagement in our activity with the local community. We can connect community with different levels of responsible agencies and government, including some political party as well. And we also have to work at some cases very closely with like a pollution control department, and now we have moved up to work with some special investigation department like DSI or Department of Industrial Work because it is in my opinion. I think industrial pollution and chemical hazards in Thailand gets more serious than in the past. So we have to work at all levels and engage with different levels to solve the situation. Yeah. So this is one of the reasons that I totally agree with her question that education system is very important. We can do try to solve the situation right now, but the general future generations, we have to do some change through education system.
Yeah. So I think how can make the noise, the voice, be heard by the policymaker. There are several approaches. I think as Ajahn just said, but I think at the end, if at the end the more peer pressure. Not only that particular community, if you have a network consortium with academia, with social media and with media, and with some of the good officers as well. There are also quite a number of good officers, can work with us. So I think it's a lot of way to do. Of course, at the end you have to do a protesting, come out on the street, but that's the last option to do it. Yeah, I think it's still a long way to go. But the other way is that before each election season, then you should voice a lot and try to get them committed and follow up on that seriously. I think that's one way to do. Yeah, please.
Thank you for that question. Very important. So I wanted to speak from the perspective of, I was born in Chile, and I don't know if you know the history, but we had a dictatorship that was installed in 1973 that really formed the basis of the neoliberal model, the neoliberal economic model. and everything became, privatized to the point where, even the water was privatized. And so the whole idea around public participation and protest has been like a part of my DNA, it's like since I was a little girl, going to my mother would take me to marches, and sometimes I think that when my students they say to me, but there's so much pressure, we go so many times to protest, for years and years, and nothing changes, but sometimes there's a moment in history where things changed, whether it's an election, we had recently an election in Chile where it really changed the discourse, where people were actually talking about the issues around, for example, indigenous people. There's so much racism against indigenous people, and for the first time, people were holding the flags of the Mapuche people, and it was a very important historical moment. Understanding that the rights to the water were rights for the indigenous people, and so there was a lot of political movement, and then there was a referendum around having to change the constitution, and it was heartbreaking for me because after all these years of so many human rights, issues in Chile, we finally had a referendum and it failed. People did not approve the changes to the Constitution because there was so much fear-mongering. And so I think it connects back to the issue of misinformation about how sometimes the public is, misguided. And so I do think it's so important to continue to promote literacy around, these issues. And also just wanted to add that one of the resources that I shared at the end is participedia.net. It's an international network of researchers that are working with many different civil societies around how do we continue to think about our roles in public participation. And I guess what I want to say is that, we all have to figure out along the way in our lifelong journey, somebody mentioned there, what is our role, So I think of myself as a facilitator, between academia and civil society, because I have the ability to do that. Other people are going to be, social epidemiologists, they're going to be working in that area. So I feel like as we kind of go through our journeys, if we find what we're really passionate about, that we can use that as a force for good, and then work towards those changes, because sometimes there's one moment that the election in Brazil that just dramatically shifted the policy directions for that country, and also for other Latin American countries. So anyway, don't so I'm saying, don't give up hope.
Thank you. Anything else from the floor? So otherwise, is there any? Oh yeah, please.
My name is Kun. I'm from Kyushu University in Japan, and my background is psychology, and I have several research projects in Japan about related to food literacy. Like we want to promote insect-based food in Japan, but a lot of people don't like this because of this kind, stereotypes toward insect. And in opposite, we want to reduce food waste in Japan. And also, people know that it's not a good thing. We have to save food, we have to eat everything. But they know that, but in, behavioral aspect, somebody behave as different types. So I think in this kind of healthy equity and civic engagement, maybe some aspect from behavioral psychological promotion is very important. So my simple question is that in your project, do you have this kind of collaborators or researchers with background of psychology or behavioral science who has been involved?
Yeah. Please.
We have some collaboration with the security on the urban farming linked with the mental health problem. I noticed that in Thailand now there are many people disabled or have the problem on mental problem more than in the past now. I don't know why. Maybe because affected from the environmental pollution. Because that area is the industrial area in the east. But also in the other area, I don't know why, but I think that maybe because of environmental, because of food, or because of what do you call this society?
Yes,
stress.
Stress.
And this issue is, in my personal, I think that is very important because the people, the quality people should come from what you call you born. The children should or take care of mother or something like that, and also the environmental of the community. So we think that we should link between our activities with the other aspect, like the learning process to the children and the mother or father. I mean that the family. We have some activity to learn, to provide the opportunity to learn about how to grow the vegetable tree, something like that, to the family, and also link with the psycho, as I say, what do you call the mental doctor, who reside from the hospital, and she's the volunteer of our project, one group in Silacha, and she's really good in consultation or some activity that we cannot do, but she can, something like that. So I think that maybe some kind of activity like this should be expanded or live up more to care of the people.
Yeah. It is also a good questions, but during we carry on our activity, we didn't have the research on securities to work with us or focus on this area. But we start addressing these issues to some medical doctors and to Department of Disease Control, that also the mental health department, that in some particular area that badly hit by industrial pollution, the Department of Mental Health and Department of Disease Control should do some research about the mental health situation of the people in those areas. And we found by our own report, many people at the community level, they suffering a lot from the pollution, and particularly when they made several complaints to the responsible agencies and did not get good response or cannot solve the problem. Like they have to badly to smell the toxic pollution, the toxic air almost every day. As this is the big pressure on their normal living and their livelihood. So I think this condition is very important, and we start addressing this and try to connect some monitor health, mental health monitoring just on the beginning. I would like to tell you one case that one community that we have been worked with in Ratchaburi province. The local reader in the past he earned a lot of exporting long gun to China and to some other country, but because of the contamination caused by toxic waste recycling factories more than around 20 years, And after the coup d'etat in 2013, the soldiers in their area want to keep peaceful situation in every places. And this group, they have been very active in their campaign because of the bad smell and the contamination that badly destroy the fruit orchard and farming. So there were two readers that have been taken by the soldiers and had to threaten them to keep quiet in their area. He asked the soldier that as a father, what you can do or what would you do when your children have to sleep with smelling the bad pollution or the chemical smell almost every day. What will you do? Yeah. So this is the example of the situation that very badly affect on the health situation and particularly the mental health. Yeah. So this is an important issue too.
Yeah. Okay. I think we have 4 minutes to go. So I'd like to ask each of the panel probably come up with any key message you want to deliver or some thought to the audience, and then we can adjourn this seminar. Yeah, please maybe start from Paula, please.
So some closing remarks? You want?
Yes. Key take-home message.
Take-home message. I was just so interested in learning so much about my colleagues and what the issues that they spoke to. But I guess there are so many problems to solve in society. So I think that the education system we will have a long survival because there's going to be so much issues to solve. But I do think that we need to find new ways of approaching things. One of the issues that I didn't have a chance to go into a lot, but that relates a little bit to your question about the food waste, is that one of the teams that was focusing on food security, they came up with the innovation of creating jam from all of the food waste. So instead of they went to the supermarkets, and all of the food that was wasted in the supermarkets over there, when you go to buy groceries, and they took that waste and they ended up making jams and jars and things like that they would be able to sell for that money to be put back into the community. And at first people also were not very interested in eating jam or jelly from some food waste, but now there's many companies that are doing this kind of work. So I think that sometimes we have resources at our disposal that we might not necessarily think of them as resources. So just if we can shift the way that we're thinking about a problem, again, trying to listen to our community, who really, I feel that they are the knowledge keepers, they are the ones that carry the wisdom. They know the problems very well, and they also have the solution. So my goal in everything that I do is trying to figure out how can I use my position in the university to support, whether it's advocacy or whether it's the transfer of resources. In this case, that I have only access to my students, so how can I support them to benefit the community at large? And I think that there's a lot to continue learning all the time, but I think that that's part of going into these conversations with an open mind, curiosity, and understanding the importance of dialogue, to be able to come to common ground, even though we might have different expertise and even though we might share different perspectives on things. So I think that's what I would like to say. Thank you.
For me, I think that from Paula, the society is more complex and the problem is more complex. So we need the collaboration among the sector, like the researcher, NGOs, or even the government, and then the community we are trying to propose the policy to what you call to change something like the environmental problem or agricultural pattern or policy related like this. But I think that the society needs the innovation and the innovation should come from the community, collaboration with the researcher or the other academic in the university or anybody who can invent to solve the problem together. And the policy and the collaboration among the people should go together, because we cannot wait who can solve this problem when everybody knows. Thank you.
Yeah, I just add a little bit more from the other tools. Like the topic for today, fostering integrated socio-ecological approach for health and well-being it is the issues that are very important because of we cannot proceed on the economic growth and investment without ignore to the well-being of the society and to protect the environment, because environment is very important for everyone. Environment will be safe and will be sustained because of the society, the whole society see the importance of that. And the political party and the government need to help realize the importance of this thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, please.
Thank you. Please allow me to say a word. I am a retired teacher here on campus, but having listened to this very enlightening session, I could not avoid saying something. I did not. I think we have some sense of critical to education, and education is meaningless without learning. And now we are really in that context of education, a lot of education programs, but not enough learning. Too far away from the real world. And the real world engagement is very difficult in the context of more technologically oriented. So in a way, having listened to this, I feel the sense of the shared sense of learning in the real world, and how can we bring that part together, linking each other. And I was struck by listening to the Canadian experience and also Thai experience. We did not really stick to Thainess or Canadianness, but we have some sense of common problem. So the identity issue in this world goes beyond just national identity, and that is also in a way empowering. We cannot be empowering if we still stick to our own national agenda alone. So in that way, may I imagine that what we could move ahead is the spirit of this program, pushing us to look at the experience beyond the borders, and also pushing more for our self-critical reflection, but also moving ahead in sharing the lessons. And with that, I feel every society is so divided now. Political society is so divided, and the real ecological challenge are not really responding to. So in some way, geopolitics dominates. So I thought maybe with the spirit of this session that Professor Kiat initiated, I feel the Global Health Center and because the civil society groups also face serious challenge in Thailand, where centralization has been a very serious obstacle, but now they are learning, but it's still far away from the real problem. We don't know how election can solve this, but I just would like to push it a little more in the direction that if we can see the not only improving listening to the issues together, but also bring the common concern as a agenda that we are from different countries can also push this agenda, because in some way some friends said health promotion in Thailand is going quite impressive, and also they are also innovative, but in some way environmental issues that we were talking are much under more authoritarian framework of solution, not through health promotion. Environmental problem in Thailand more pushed under the political fix or authoritarian fix, which cannot solve the real issue. So I think what Kun Supha and Kun Pencho mentioned can help us to bring the university a little more close to the community in the spirit that Dr. Paula has been doing more. So I just, with that, may I really congratulate the interesting the speeches, and also I would like to hope for next steps that we can see how we can bring our message more interactive in the world where geopolitical risks dominates the conversation too much, disproportionately. And I think, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is really a nice closing remark. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's very clear that university, medical school cannot stand alone without integrating the new generation into the community and address the real world issue together. And that is a real wonderful learning process to groom the next generation people to be part of the way to solve that difficult challenges issue. So I think the only way to solve the problem is to get the new generation involved and learn, and then both in depth and in broad and connects without boundary. So I think that's very critical message. Thank you very much for all the wonderful panels, the hosts, and all the audience both on site and online. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ajahn Kim. And the question of health equity has really become such a question that really encourages us to talk about fundamental issues of our humanity. And I imagine we continue to learn from exchanging and from this interconnectedness of this issue and actions to really look forward to action ahead. Among academia, civil society, government, corporate sector and communities, these are really crucial. So on behalf of theฬาลงกรณ University, especially the Office of International Affairs and Global Network, I would like to express my sincere appreciation once again to all the speakers and our very engaging participants today. Also I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to the School of Global Health led by Professor Kiat, and especially to Professor Sompong in co-hosting and co-designing this seminar, which offered a lot of learning experiences for all of us. So we look forward to continuing this conversation, and we'll see each other again next time. Thank you very much. Group photo, please. So maybe in front of the screen, yes?